It was tough because Cardiff, I'm very grateful for Cardiff. That was a club which gave me my first opportunity. I'd been at the club for 10 years. I'd had a lot of success there. I had a lot of mates there. It'd be quite comfortable for me to stay at Cardiff. Obviously, everything that went on at that time with...
was it the money?
Yeah, it's a lot of the money
changed?
and the cap, and it was a lot of things like COVID, and everything had been affected.
Got a water there as well for you.
Cheers, man.
How many coffees you had today?
2?
Have you? Mate, I've had a lot today.
Have you?
Yeah, well, for me, 3 today. I have a little morning shot, and then I had one of Ions, and then I just had one now with you, so.
Mate, I need to cut back, I think.
You?
I'm a similar,
Yeah?
I can go like, on a training day, I'm like 3 before 12.
Really?
Yeah.
What, flat whites?
When I'm training, I try and keep it Americano, but if I'm here enjoying one, it's flat white.
Hey, Jarrod Evans, how you doing, brother?
All good, mate. Yeah, all good.
Mate.
Come home for a weekend, so.
Mate, thank God. I'm super grateful to have you in obviously in the podcast, but more importantly, man, like just big fan of the way you play. I know we just spoke off air about the way you play, but you've kind of brought a new lease of life to your clubland, but more importantly for Wales. Mate, when you came and come off the bench in the Six Nations, I was like, this guy's got it. You know what I mean? Just it's as if some switch is flicked in your mind. You're a bit more nonchalant. You it always seems like you're just on. You're like looking at numbers. You play really square, hips, take it to the line, and I'm like, I love it, man, because you're engaging defenders and you're a different type of 10.
Yeah, it's probably something I've always sort of grown up with, I reckon. Yeah, on the Wales stuff, it was obviously it'd been five years, I think, out of the game. So it was a bit of a strange feeling in terms of being back in there.
Just a second, just pull that mic up a little bit. No, the mic, yeah, bring it up to it. Lift it up. You can lift that part up as well.
Can you?
There you go.
Is that all right?
That's the one, bro. Get that beautiful voice.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's been 5 years since I last got selected for Wales. So it's been a lot of ups and downs between that period and when everyone's seen me back in there in the Six Nations. So, but yeah, I was super grateful to be back in there. Yeah, and I've always just sort of tried to play, just very free flowing and kind of what I see.
Yeah. Well, first of all, did you expect to come back into the fold?
No, like for a long period, when it goes 5 years, you're like, maybe is this it? But like, I know it's a bit cliche, but you just sort of try and play well for your club and hope things improve. And you might get lucky and get a call. And I didn't expect it, no. But then, like you said, I was super grateful to wear the red jersey again.
It was, mate, I think every Welsh fan was watching. And when you got selected, when Jarrod took over and he just kind of just added his flavour to it, brought boys like yourself back. And it was just like, yeah. And that first game, who did we play his first game?
Ireland.
Ireland.
The one I was Ireland, Scotland, England.
It was just that flair was back, It was energy was back, and I think from a fan's perspective, it was just nice to see that we were having a crack. If you know what I mean, we were playing to win instead of playing to not lose.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. It was it's definitely that. Like, I don't think it's a worse feeling in a game of rugby where you kind of play the game without firing any shots. Like, you can deal with maybe losing or, the ups and downs of that, like coming on the right side or wrong side of a result. But when you lose and you don't really fire any shots, I think that's what hurts the most.
Yeah, it's a funny feeling, but man, I got to give credit to you. You're a great player, man. Just the way you play. I think I really dialed in and watched you, the way you play for Harlequins, just the way you've been playing there. Really, it's as if you've had a new lease of life.
Yeah, like, I think across the board that the Premiership's like a good product, especially at Quins. I think they've helped me in terms of allowing me to just express myself. They allow everyone to express themselves. Probably instilled a little bit more of a positive mindset in moments in games. But yeah, it's a great club. It's a great league. I think I've grown quite a lot since I've gone there. So,
do you think, well, you say like they instill a belief of confidence and trying things? What is it that they do? What they're doing then, essentially, that instill that in you? Like, instead of, okay, you've made a mistake, instead of grilling you about it, going, well, that was actually on. Maybe it was just the execution, or maybe it was the wrong line, but the play was on.
It's exactly that. Like, it's all about like the picture.
Yeah.
And if that picture's on, they want you to take it, no matter about the context of the game or the situation, because it's so easy in those high pressure moments to not do that and sort of be safe and shut up shop, where there is a time for that. But I feel like they do express to everyone to allow them to play the picture and just stay in the moment.
And you can see that the way they play. Like I think I put up a reel the other day of you doing that nice cutout pass against Newcastle. Like, just, you double pumped, and the defenders kind of showed their cards, and then you just did this nice little over the top ball. It was cracker, man.
Like you said, that's just a byproduct of everyone else doing their job as well. So I can't take full credit for it.
Piss off, Jack.
I can't take full credit for it. But like you said, the importance of everyone else doing what they have to do. Yeah. It might not be, the front and center of getting the limelight and that sort of thing, but everyone has a role to play to allow me to do that.
Don't, as long as you today on this podcast, you don't go, no, credit to the boys, I wouldn't have done it without them, or
yeah.
Those like cliche interview sayings that people say,
Yeah.
It's good. So, one thing that I've found out about you is, man, you love league, and I don't want to make this a league podcast, but you're a proper diehard Penrith Panthers supporter.
Penrith Panthers, since about 6, really.
And where does that come from?
I'd say my dad. I was quite sport mad when I was young, growing up. I'd watch, in particular, it'd be football, rugby, league and union. So, I just kind of, since about 6, I was like into league. I'd watch it quite a bit. And I feel like I kind of, like analysed that and sort of took it into my rugby union game. I probably just took that all the way through to my career. I still watch it to this day. Nice. I feel like different sports can help you
massively
in your field.
You know what? Well, first of all, I want to say is one thing I noticed straight away about you: the way you carry a ball. You carry 6 o'clock. You haven't got the spin grip. You've always hold it like 2 hands and playing it to the line like this. So that's a one indicator I knew. And when you just said then about sports, so at the moment, if you notice, I'm getting into golf. Do you play golf?
I don't play golf.
Well, like, if you want to learn how to master your mindset without getting frustrated, go play golf, because it's like you'll hit the worst shot ever, and you've got to control it. Otherwise, you'll hit the best shot, and you're like buzzing about it. But it's kind of staying calm in those type of shots. You know what I mean? And
definitely.
It's a bit like goal kicking. It's a bit like kicking the touch, I suppose it's a bit like that. A
lot of the lads, I think, have really gone into golf, I'd say, the last 5 years in rugby. I'm a bit concerned starting it for that reason.
Getting
like
obsessed.
trying to perfect the shot.
Yeah.
And it's expensive, so.
Yeah, it is, mate.
But I can imagine everyone I've spoke to kind of gets the bug for it.
Yeah.
Like you said, in those pressure moments, or trying to perfect a shot. But it's not something I've got into at the moment. But maybe later down the line.
Maybe, mate. Maybe. What are you, 28?
28 now.
Plenty of time. You're in your prime of rugby.
Trying to be, yeah.
But the body's all good?
Yeah, I've had a couple of niggles. I had a hammy injury, 2B, they call it. So that's been an ongoing thing, and I've had a little bit of a clean out of my knee, so I'm just trying to get back fit and firing from that.
Love it, man. How's London living?
Oh, it's a lot different here.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a lot different. No, I do enjoy it. We are just outside a place called Guildford. it's it's nice. It's about 35 minutes into London. It's quite central to if I need to come home or if I want to go deeper into London. So so it's a lot different. It's a lot way fast paced life.
Yeah, people talkative there.
Nah, it's not. Nah, like you get a mix. It's not like here. Definitely not like back home. Which I struggled with at the start, but you kind of get used to it.
I was speaking to Brad about this earlier, and he was like, such an overpopulated place, you can easily feel lonely there as well, because no one, you could walk, I think we just walked down the street there, and I think I said hello to 3 people on the way.
Yeah.
Like,
you don't really sort of get that.
Nah.
Unless you know them personally, like if I seen one of the players, but you wouldn't speak to, someone you didn't know. Like everyone's just on their own sort of mission.
Yeah. What do you get up to then outside of training in London? What's the go-to for yourself?
Mate, no, like, to be honest, these days it's more just about recovery and, coffee's like the one thing that I do enjoy doing. Nice. We try and catch up because a lot of the lads, I'd say about 70-80% of them live close. So I'd say there's a big crew of us who sort of meet up on days off and things. But we normally like catch up for coffees or meals. Yeah. So
you much of a drinker or anything?
Nah, not massively. No.
I think the culture's changed.
Yeah, it's a lot different now. Like when we were coming through, it'd be like, it'd definitely be a lot more. But I'd say every year that goes by, it's probably getting less and less and more professional now.
Yeah, 100%. I've noticed that just how much the culture's changed, and you speak to people, and like you said, recovery has become the new thing. Where after a game, you've got your game readies on, or you've got your compression tights on, or you're switching off essentially instead of chasing the night out after it. So
it's like I think a lot of people like want that longevity in their careers as well. So you don't see it as much. You do get the odd, but I think it's more. The other thing is like the schedule probably don't allow for it. Like you intake the URC, like they've just come back from South Africa. They're back, traveling quite a bit, getting out early hours of the morning. Our league's very similar. It's like you're bouncing around a bit. So I don't think the schedule sort of every game's a big game, right? So
100%.
And especially our league, how tight it is.
Yeah.
Every week matters. So like, you win one game or lose one game, the next game becomes even more important. So it's just all about getting right for that.
Yeah, it's margins then, isn't it?
It's
literally small little margins that change the game. Because, I'm a big believer in that. Like, if you really think about it, a pre-season for a team or in the week, they're pretty much similar. Most teams would have that. But it's just literally that 1% difference can really change the trajectory of its side or how well they're going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's quite interesting on that front.
Hey everyone, it's Ollie Olds here with a quick word from our incredible sponsor, Pitch Roofer. Your home is your castle, and nothing protects that castle better than a solid, reliable roof. That's where Pitch Roofer comes in. They're not just building roofs, they're building trust, community, and peace of mind. Pitch Roofer has been serving our local community for years, and what really sets them apart is their commitment to giving back, from supporting local sport teams to donating to charities. They're making a real difference beyond roofing. Together, we are stronger. Now, if your roof is looking a little worse for wear, or you are thinking it might be time for a full replacement, Pitch Roofer has got you covered with top quality solutions tailored to protect your home and boost that curb appeal. Why should you choose Pitch Roofer? Let me break it down for you. Experienced professionals. These guys know this stuff with years of expertise in residential roofing. Affordable rates, competitive pricing with no hidden costs. High quality materials, durable weather resistant products that stand the test of time. Free inspections, get the condition of your roof checked at no cost. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. They're not happy until you are. So whether it's a repair, a replacement, or you just want a peace of mind your roof is in good conditions, give Pitch Roofer a call on 01656 470016. A text message to 07540 443345 or email gerald@pitchroofer.co.uk. Pitch Roofer, building more than roofs, building a stronger community. Now, back to the show.
You know, with yourself, coming from the Blues, you come through the academy there?
Yeah. So, yeah, I'd been through like all the systems around 14 years old. There was a big chunk of us. It was like, because I was played up here, it was like, it was like Aled Summerhill and Garen Smith, Thomas Williams, me, Liam Belcher, Dylan Lewis, Seb Davis. There was a good crew of us who'd sort of come through together. And then we had a couple of older lads like Brad and which you obviously know well. Yeah. So there was a good crew of us who'd been together a long time. But yeah, I was 14 in like the Blues North systems, and then it went under 16s and then straight into the academy.
Was it straight path for you? Because you hear so many stories with players come through academy where they get let go and they come back in. Like you might have known about Nipper story with the Ospreys. It wasn't like a straight path for them. Was it pretty straight for yourself?
Yeah, I'd say I had a couple of setbacks, obviously, in terms of selection stuff and age grade bits. But yeah, I'd say it was pretty straight. I made my debut at like 17.
Wow.
For Cardiff, so
that's big.
Yeah, it was pretty big for a number 10 to step into those boots. I think the 10s coming through then, it was like I think Gareth Hanscom had signed, Reece Patchell, Gareth Davis, who was brilliant with me when I was a younger boy coming through.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was competition. Like the squads were big. It was, for a 17-year-old to step into to start at the time was quite daunting, really, with British Lions, and we had like Sam Obden and Gethin Jenkins, those type of players still on the books.
He's a big man, Gethin Jenkins. I seen him this morning. He's got to be 6'3".
Mate, he's fit as well.
Yeah, he's top heavy though, isn't he? Like,
yeah.
I've seen him. He's just this big rig.
Yeah.
Trying to get into him.
He's always been fitness mad. He still keeps fit now, right?
Yeah. Well, he was in the gym lifting some tin.
Was he? Yeah.
Tried to go, Mel, come on the podcast, mate. He's like, oh, it's not for me, that's
yeah.
Go, Mel, get on.
Mate, he won't be doing any of this stuff. I have to show you that.
Give me time, mate. I'll break him.
Yeah, maybe. keep on to him, see how he goes.
He's got a good thing going down there, the Robin, with the Ions, what he's got going on with the gym and the setup, and because he's a strength and conditioner, one of them for Wales, right?
Yeah, he was the S&C for Wales. I had him at Cardiff as well.
He's great.
Yeah, he's a great lad. It's good to see him doing well as well, his business, because I think he started it quite small, really. And then it was
originally Dragon CrossFit.
Dragon CrossFit, and then he's kind of branched out into Ion, but obviously on the videos online, it always seems like the classes are always busy, which is great to see for him.
He's a good guy, and I think, like you just said, then it's really refreshing to see good people do well.
Yeah.
As soon as I met him, I was like, this guy's a top bloke.
Yeah.
You know where you stand with him.
Yeah, he helped me like coming through. It was him and Irish conditioner Ryan Whitley. They were like heading her up for a while.
Yeah.
And at that stage in my career, they helped me quite a bit. Them too.
You spoke about debuting at 17. Now, it's confidence is the key catalyst for a great performance. And as a 17-year-old, you've got all of these players around you. What was the thing that instilled confidence in you kind of at that age?
To be honest with you, I think for the first couple of years, you almost don't feel pressure. It's all just so... it's all new. It's all... like you're in a bit of a daze, I suppose. Like you can't believe you're here, and you just go out there, and you just wanna, no pressure. Nobody kind of knows who you are, and you just go out there with all the confidence, and you're almost a bit blasé to everything, and you almost, like everything sort of like comes off that you're doing, and it was quite a weird time. But as time goes on, obviously people start to know you. You start to aim for bigger things. You always put this added pressure on yourself, which is quite interesting, really.
Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I don't know exactly, but when you're young, I think it's just a pressure thing. Nobody knows who you are.
Yeah.
You've got everything to prove, nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And then as time goes on, you've got this expectation that everyone puts on you. you put on yourself because you want to get better, right? So, yeah, like at that time, I just felt like I was just going into games, just trying to showcase myself. But as time gets older, you grow, you realize this, you've got to run the team, you just learn and grow as time goes on.
Now, you come, like, getting to know you and just even in this experience prior to this, you seem more of a reserved bloke. Is that right?
Yeah.
So as a 10, like, you see the likes of Biggers when they were playing, just screaming at people. How do you kind of demand respect?
Yeah, like I'd probably say like my relationships with people are probably, I'd say the two things that I try and do is my relationships with people and my performance. So if I can back it up with my performance, then I think people start to listen to you and believe in you. Like you said, I've had different eras, different people, different personalities. Some are very aggressive with how they speak to people. Some are not so aggressive. But I think the one thing that stays the same is like if you can back it up with your performance, people respect you either way. Whether you're shouting at them, speaking to them in a different way, speaking to them well. But I think you've got to back it up for people to listen to you.
It's interesting you say that about relationships, and one thing I've noticed about you, and I was speaking to Brad actually earlier this morning about it, I said about, oh my God, I'm catching up with Jarrod later. He goes, one thing you notice with Jarrod, he's very interested in other people. Like he said, you'll go out and meet someone, and next thing you'll be talking to like some randomers, asking them questions about themselves, and that's building relationships. And I think when you show interest in other people, mate, that's when you're forming that connection, right? And yeah,
that's something I've always done. I don't know if it's probably my upbringing, my parents and family. I've always had a big family. I've always just sort of socialised. Yeah, like you said, I think I've always done that in rugby as well. Like there's people maybe I don't know so well, but I'd still speak to them and ask them, questions about themselves, where maybe some other players or people don't.
Yeah.
But I think the relationship piece is quite important. Like if you get to know someone on a deeper level, I think you maybe understand them a bit more and you can get a bit more out of them.
That makes sense, definitely. And I suppose then, when you left the Blues and that transition into Harlequins, was that smooth sailing? Was that what you wanted, or was it hard?
It was tough because Cardiff, I'm very grateful for Cardiff. That was a club which gave me my first opportunity. I'd been at the club for 10 years. I'd had a lot of success there. I had a lot of mates there. It'd be quite comfortable for me to stay at Cardiff. Obviously, everything that went on at that time with...
was it the money?
Yeah, it's a lot of the money
changed?
and the cap, and it was a lot of things like COVID and everything had been affected. It was a strange time. So it wasn't easy to leave Cardiff. I got a lot of family living close, but at the same time, I don't think being comfortable was always good. And then the opportunity at Harlequins come up, and I knew I needed a change. And I've always been of the thought, like I've watched a lot of rugby, like growing up, and I would have, you only get to do your career once. And Harlequins I thought would suit me. I thought it'd give me a different experience. It'd make me grow. And to be honest with you, I think it have.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I would have been gutted if I'd gone through my whole career, and stayed at one club and thought, what if that? And I didn't have that experience, a different experience somewhere else.
100%.
I put so much into my career. I think I needed to, play at Harlequins or experience something different. So then when I can look back, I can say, oh, look, like I experienced this and that. And, I'm so grateful, and it's no sort of regrets where, I love my time at Cardiff, and, I suppose it's just a new chapter with Harlequins now.
I think it's leveled you up massively. And it's one of those things, right, where, when it's not the word complacent, but it's comfortable, where you're in the same place all the time, maybe no one's really snapping on your heels as much as it was before. and then you go to another team and you've got to chase again. It's like going to the gym essentially, and someone's stronger than you in the gym. You've got to kind of, they're pushing you to do better, and I think that's happened here with yourself and Marcus Smith. That you knew subconsciously before going to that thing, before going to Harlequins, I got to level up here. I'm dialed in.
Well, he's one of the best 10s in the world, right? So that was one of the reasons why I wanted to go. I wanted to learn off him. I wanted to challenge him as well. Yeah, and I have done so. Like, we're pretty good mates, away from the field and on it. We try and help each other's games. So yeah, I'm pretty grateful for that. Yeah, and I hope we can just bring success to the Harlequins. He's obviously came through the system there. So yeah, I've enjoyed working with him, actually.
That's good. And it's, when you talk about working together and building that relationship, I'm sure there's parts of your game that he's picked as well. That the skill set, Jar, that you've got is, and it's not just blowing smoke up your ass. It's legit. Like, you're an unbelievable player, and I think we're really starting to see you blossom. And I'm excited to see the next 5 years of your career where you're going to be.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah, like you said, I think I've learned bits off Marcus. Marcus hopefully has learned some bits off me. Yeah, and like you said, the main goal is to make Quins better and make the team improve. So, yeah, in terms of the next 5 years, we'll see. I'm just taking it year by year, just trying to enjoy my rugby, because I feel like that's when you maybe see the best of me. So
yeah, enjoying the process.
Yeah, just enjoying the process, just trying to grow. Yeah, that's the bit I enjoy.
What would you say is your biggest growth, and where has it come from?
It hasn't all been plain sailing. Like I said, with the Welsh stuff, I've had to bounce back from a lot of things, and I think the adversity has challenged me a lot in terms of not being selected. And I feel like I've always had this thing where I've always got something to prove. So I'd say that's probably my biggest growth, in a weird way, is that I've had a lot of setbacks. I played for Wales, didn't play for Wales. Played for Wales, didn't play for Wales. Tried to carry on playing well for my clubs, come out the other side, and then to get picked in the Six Nations. I just felt that was quite a proud moment for me to bounce back and stick with it and keep grinding to then come out the other side, which is professional sport. It's just constantly like that, and some dips are really big, some dips are not. But some people don't come out the other side because they decide to, I don't know, they take their foot off the gas, they feel hard done by, they quit. But I've actually come out the other side. And like you said, hopefully I can just continue to get better and hopefully force my way into squad once I'm back selected, and, play well for Quins and see what happens.
I like that, man. It's, you never really find your true growth in success. You find your growth in the negatives of the hardships, the learnings, and what you just said then, it says a lot about you, because, okay, at the start of the Six Nations, didn't get selected. Now, this is an emotional roller coaster. If you've gone, fuck, I'm playing really well at the moment, I'm still not getting selected, and then midway through the Six Nations, you come in, transform the team, and it's just like, it really does show as well, you can be playing really well, and if a coach doesn't like you, if your face doesn't fit in that image that he has, it's not sometimes your skill or performance, it's just your face doesn't fit him, and it's learning that it's out of your control. Yeah,
it's definitely that. So, like you said, you'll always get coaches who favour players, styles. It's not necessarily what you were doing. I think it's just that's pro sport.
Did Gats ever speak to you prior to the Six Nations when he selected to say we didn't go ahead with you because of X, Y, and Z, or?
Nah, because I think that how they work it is like they only speak to the players who. So if you got picked in the autumn, the previous campaign, and then they didn't select you for the Six Nations, they speak to them players why they're not selected from the previous campaign. But because I'd been out of the game 5 years, there hadn't been an awful lot of contact. from anyone really. But yeah, like you said, it was just quite a lot of ups and downs, and I was just quite proud to come out the other side of that, because even the 2019 World Cup was pretty tough, where I had to go through all the camps, the altitude chambers, the Switzerland training in altitude, Turkey, the heat camps, the bikes, and I put a lot into that, trying to get into that 2019 World Cup, and to not get selected, but then to bounce back and try and play well, and it was always challenging. But like you said, sometimes it is just as simple as you are playing well, but it's maybe just not what we want. And for another coach, it could be exactly what you want. So it's just sort of recognising that, and I think if you can just continue to play well, that's the one thing you can control.
100%, man. I love the way you've articulated that as well. And it seems like Matt Sherratt, he's got a different view on players and building confidence. He's more, I'm not saying Gatlin was ever not that, but it seems like he's very much relationship based. Sherratt?
Yeah, like you said, I've been lucky to work with him twice at Cardiff. But mate, yeah, he's pretty much one of the lads. He understands people very well. He's very detailed, very attack-minded coach. Yeah, like we see the game quite similar, I'd say, and I think the group we got at the moment, I think that's what we need. I wouldn't say we're probably blessed with massive men. We got a lot of fight. Yeah, we got a lot of skill, and I feel like he would definitely get the best out of the team going to Japan in the summer. Like he's got the best out of a team with Cardiff in the URC. So I hope everything goes well for him.
Nice, mate. Nice. Well, like you said, the reasoning for not going on this tour is because of a couple of little niggles, but you'll be ready to rock and roll next season.
Hopefully, mate. Yeah, just trying to get my body right, and just like you said, just enjoy my rugby. Try and come back and just sort of enjoy it.
Nice, mate. Nice. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see your growth, man. It's the first time in a while I've seen a 10 in the Welsh jersey and gone, oh, here we go. Like we got something about us again now, and playing eyes up rugby, which is good. And you say about you and Sherratt, you have a similar view on the game. When you're looking at a team, are you just playing eyes up all the time, or is it more like, okay, this team is this type of team, and we're going to work against these areas like them, or is it very much, how do you sort of see the game?
Like you said, the game constantly moves, so you've got to be, especially as a 10, I think the game moves quite quick, so you've got to be on it all the time. In terms of when I see teams, I look at some traits which they have, and I'll give me some cues as to how I'm going to go in and play. But what I have learned being in the Prem, I think in some of those pressure moments, not focusing on the other team too much and just trying to imprint your game on them. I feel like some of the Irish teams do that. I always wonder, like, how much do they change for everyone else? And how much is it? How often do you see Ireland or New Zealand or wherever it is? How often do they change for everyone else? Yeah, so I think that's something I've learned quite a bit in England, like trying to imprint what you were trying to do on the opposition, as opposed to like the opposition. Yeah. You kind of build them up a little bit.
Yeah, is that a Welsh thing?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know if it is, to be honest.
I was when I was in Australia, we do video sessions, and it was never really about individuals or the team. It was what we could impact on them.
Yeah.
But I find in Wales, it's very much like they've got so and so player, and they've got so and so, and be careful, he's got that step.
He's got him, and
and you're like, fuck, you're putting this fear in my head of like you're in the mentality of like parking the bus in football. You know what I mean? We're playing safe now. We're going to mark him, watch him.
Like you said, it's always a fine balance, I think, because you've got to understand what the opposition are going to bring in order to exploit that. But yeah, I always wonder, like, do them teams, how much do they change? Like, when you see They might be the odd one or two bits or plays, but they're keeping the main part of their game. Like Ireland, you could watch them play Wales, and they play exactly the same shape, structures the next week against England, because that's what they do and that's what they believe in, you know. So, yeah, it's interesting, really. That I'm always interested in that sort of stuff.
Now, you said coming off the bench against Ireland, that was your first game back, right?
Yeah.
What was going through your head on that game day?
Like you said, being in camp was a little bit strange. First time for a while. I was quite excited to get out there. It's almost, I wouldn't say it was an awful lot of pressure.
Yeah.
In terms of the recent results. There was like a new coach in there. There was a couple of new players, so it was never going to be perfect. But yeah, I thought we showed a lot of heart. We were unlucky on a few bits. I thought we probably should have nicked the game really against Ireland. We had a disallowed try in the corner for the win really. So yeah, I felt it was mixed emotions. It was very strange feeling in terms of being back in there, but then I was also proud to be back out there playing at the top of the game. So yeah, it was a funny one. But then the Scotland game was a little bit easier. It was another week in camp.
Yeah.
There was a lot of thinking for me as well against Ireland. New calls, new structure. They'd only been in there a week, so and I'm the 10. So
you need to know the calls.
I need
right?
to know the yeah. So I'd been 5 years out. I didn't really know any of the calls, the structures. So it was just yeah. It was just trying to just impact the game as best I could, really.
Yeah, I think, as a 10, not knowing getting told the plays that week and knowing them, you're on the go essentially, right? And thank God, the combinations probably of Thomas Williams was there, so you already worked with him before. Who else was in the blue set?
Ben Thomas, and Max Llewellyn and them lads. So I think that's what kind of dragged me through a little bit. Which I thought that's where he did do well, Matt Jarrod, where he just brought a lot of familiarity back. People who'd played together. I think we had like Scarlett's back three, so they were pretty comfortable with each other. Yeah. We had a lot of Cardiff players. But that's in a short space of time, 3-week period, you need to make it as cohesive as possible.
What makes you more excited, scoring a try or setting up a try?
Setting up. No question. No question. Like that's the one thing which gives me complete joy in the game is assist. Yeah.
Nice, mate. Yeah. I watched. I think it was the Ireland game in the Millennium Principality. You took it to the line. You played. I think you played inwards first to play square, and then you went to go short, and you pulled out the back. And was it Llewellyn went through, or was it Thomas? I don't know who it was, mate, but everyone's seen the outside play of the try in the corner. Maybe he was a fullback. I can't remember. Yeah. But it was from your play because you actually squared up the defenders and they had to hold and bite on you. One bit and the hole opened up. But people only see, the fans only see what's gone on the outside. But it all stems from that play there. That's what gets me, like, horny.
But that's where I think the league stuff probably comes in for me. And I do get the joy out of that. I just think that, for fans as well, like they want to see the entertaining stuff as well. It is the entertainment industry, and I think we got to find a way of just making the game better in Union. I think League are doing a pretty good job for anyone who watches it a lot. But that's what gets me sort of.
How did you find bringing a lot of League characteristics into Union? Did people ever say, "What are you doing?" or
maybe a little bit growing up.
Because you take it to the line, really to the line.
Yeah.
And you're happy to get whacked just as before passing, when 10s play a bit off from that,
Yeah, like you said, I'd say Union have probably learned quite a bit off League in terms of numbers and playing our way and how to manipulate defences, because I don't think there's anyone better than the League players at doing that. Well, they train it all day. Like, they just go, like, edge on edge, really. So it's like they know how to manipulate people and manipulate defenders, and I feel like Union's learned a lot in terms of getting to sort of landmarks or positions on a field to to sort of trap numbers and get you. So, I've just, that's the way I've sort of grown up. I've watched a lot of it. I've studied it. I've brought little intricacies into my game, and that's just become a part of me, really.
What's up, guys? This podcast is brought to you by UTest. UTest provides clinically accurate, rapid home testing kits for a variety of medical conditions and deficiencies. Designed for convenience, these tests deliver results in just 5 minutes, eliminating the need to wait days or weeks for lab results. The range includes tests for prostate PSA levels, bowel cancer screening, onset menopause to fertility, and more. All tests are available with the next day delivery at www.utest.co.uk. Use the code 0010 for 10% off your order. Now, let's go back to the episode.
I noticed, just clicked in, you got Penrith Panthers coat on, mate. I only clocked it part in. I was like, oh, my man.
Yeah.
I like that, bro.
So like, yeah.
Origins on Wednesday.
Origin Wednesday.
Who are you going for?
Can't wait. I think, on paper, I think New South Wales.
On paper.
Yeah, I think so. But you never write off Queensland, though, right? Like, there's always been this thing where New South Wales pick this amazing team and Queensland somehow find a way. So that's what's interesting. But I think on paper, I think New South Wales look pretty strong, don't they?
They're stacked at the moment. They even dropped Luai and they've got Mitchell Moses in.
Yeah.
But just having Nathan Cleary in your team, like...
Baller.
He's a freak, isn't he?
Yeah, they got some team. Like, even depth, like, if you didn't have to pick Nathan or one or two others, you'd be like...
You could just chuck another half-back in.
Yeah. Like you said, look at the players who are missing out, Luai and players like that.
I love watching the NRL. Like, we just had it on a minute ago before this, but, did you ever think about going over there? Did you ever have any offers?
Like I said, like, growing up, I've always watched it, so I've loved it since a young age. I would have loved to have played it. That would have been one of my sort of dreams growing up. It'd be obviously playing for Wales, playing that at that level, rugby league, or I've always thought, playing against the All Blacks would be pretty cool as well growing up. So it'd be them three things which I've always, like, sort of, that's what drove me on. Like you said, league was being pushed in Wales for quite a bit, wasn't it? Yeah. And then it kind of got to a situation where I had to pick between both. And then I got into all the Blues setups, and Union was pretty big over here, so that's the direction I went. So, but like you said, I have a lot of admiration for the game of league. I still watch it now, and I'm still in Union and enjoying that. It's
I reckon you will do well at league. You never say never. You might go over there one stage. I remember Alfie, Gareth Thomas, he did a stint of league.
Yeah.
Yes, and Harris come from league to Union.
There's a couple of lads who've gone back and forth on it.
Yeah. I think Gavin Henson got offered the league gig once.
Yeah.
I think he turned it down though, but it's good. It's a really good one. It's I think the pre-seasons absolutely rinsed me over there. They were so hard.
Yeah. What were they like?
They're just long, high, like just loads of running. Because of the heat over there as well, you're just losing weight consistently, all the time. But we did like this thing called like a longest day. And that was the thing in pre-season that really broke me, was because one team was at South Logan Magpies. We got to this kind of out west in the countryside, and it was like 36 degrees, humid as. And they're like, right, set a tent up, and you'd go do like a 5 or 10K run, and then there was this like big dam there, so they'd have all these kayaks there, and you've got a kayak up to this mountain, hike the mountain, and then come back down, and then you're knackered, then you're going into tackle tech, and then you're doing game situations, and you're just mentally and physically tired. Probably not the best of science in it now to what it is now back then. I remember them, they were like, right, everyone get to bed, and you're in your tent, and then foghorn goes off 2 a.m. in the morning, everyone out, and then you'd go grab these logs, and you'd be running the hill, and then they're like, right, go back to bed, and you're not sleeping after doing that, and I was just mentally just like, what have I signed up to here?
Yeah, I could imagine. They put you through your paces.
I just found the conveyor belt of quality was unbelievable, and I was not blessed to be a great player comparison to some people, but you're one injury away and there's just another guy in just as good, if not better, you know, and you do X amount of surgery, like 3 knee reconstructions for me, ACLs, like there's 3 seasons nearly gone.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to fight to get in the team and whatnot. But I just love, if we could take one thing from Australia and bring it to Wales in particular, is just a belief. A belief of, you know, what if it happened instead of what happens if it didn't work out. Do you know what I mean? Like in game situations, or, you know, Scott Drinkwater was in our squad, and mate, I've never seen a guy so elegant when he runs. He plays for the Cowboys now. And you throw the ball out the back to him, and you just do this nice cut-out pass. And one time it just went into the sideline. Not one player said, "What the fuck are you doing?" It was like, "Unlucky Scott, do it again." And he was a bit like, it was as if like there was a monkey, you know, like the banger monkey like this in his head. He didn't think too much. You just impulse, just go. You know what I mean? And I give credit to that, because he's a freak now.
He's a great player. He's doing well the last 2 years as well. He's really.
But I think, imagine the likes of people like yourself, Ja, who now have had this new lease of life on playing, where you feel free. You know, you're getting congratulated and getting told, if you do make a mistake, good job. And we just we directed that into the Welsh public of how to play. And like, I think a lot of players are probably playing at 70% because of that fear of getting dropped, or fear of a contract, or Monday going back into review and the coach ripping into you. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just think we could level up more purely on our behaviours and how we speak to players.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you said, I don't know if it's a Welsh thing or it's just a me thing, or I think like the Aussies are great now. They're
not
good,
short of confidence.
Not short of confidence. Different types of people. They're good at sports, pretty much all sports. So, they're always super competitive. So, I bet you enjoyed your time out there, did you?
Yeah, I liked Australia a lot. It was 11 years, from 19 to 29. Yeah, I loved it. It was just. I reckon a lot of things I do now, as in work or with the people and the clients, is a lot from what I've learned over there. Just getting the best out of people, like, you know what I mean. Just seeing the people's potential and really growing that, and it just comes from relationships, what you just spoke about, and yeah, it was good.
That's the one thing you see, that they're quite tight knit.
Yeah,
like the teams is always very. The boys are here as well. To be fair. Like Union's quite similar. Yeah.
Well, I think, you know, you can really get an eye into teams now. But if you ever look at, like, even, is it Pacific Moana?
Yeah.
Check out the TikToks videos, mate. They're like proper loving life there. I mean, they got the speakers going, they're dancing, they're mucking around, they hype each other up, and that's like infectious. Yeah. That just ripples around the team. You know what I mean? You got a smile on the team manager's face. You know, the physios are buying into it. That's a culture. You know. Yeah. And I think I think some people worry so much about what others think that they don't express themselves. You know what I mean? Have you seen Penrith Panthers did it once, where rocking up to training, they all like wore any gear they wanted to wear, and they have to dress up pretty funky, but that's a vibe. Yeah. We're letting that player really express himself.
Yeah, yeah, I got you.
So I mean, it's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think it's allowing people to become more authentic.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man. Anyway, I could go on a sidetrack of that, but I'd love you to go to Australia.
Mate. Like I said, I'm enjoying my rugby at the moment at Quins, and we'll see. Like, I got another year at Quins. I've loved my time there. Like you said, I had 10 years at Cardiff. I love my time there. Obviously, the Wales thing is maybe the door's back open maybe a little bit. So, obviously, it's a new head coach coming in. Obviously, nobody knows who, but that, I suppose, that'll get sorted soon, hopefully, by the union. And then, I just want to sort of just keep enjoying playing my rugby, really.
So Sherrod doesn't want to do the Welsh coach gig, or has he applied for it?
I don't think so. No, I think they've applied. No, I'm not. They've employed a couple of other people, and I think they're just on this lookout for head coach, and then before... Yeah, and then he's going to obviously bring in his team, so nice. We'll see.
See what happens. It's exciting. I want to ask you 2 more questions. You know, Danny Kerr just retired as well. What's he like?
Mate, the best bloke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the players are going to miss him a lot. Like, you don't realise how much someone's played, like how much he's experienced. Like, I think they said he had like 394 Quins appearances, 100-odd England appearances. It's almost 500 games pro.
Yeah, wow.
Like, you're going to miss him. But above it all, like, he's such a good guy.
Yeah. It's
so easy for him to not be.
So easy for him not to.
So, like, he's achieved everything. It's so easy for him to not be, and he's such a legend. He'd treat everyone the same. Yeah, like, the boys are going to miss him. I'll miss him. He was one of them players, like, when I was growing up, I'd watch Quins, and he'd be there and making breaks, and like, the boys are going to miss him. It was a privilege to play with him.
Man, that's he could still do a job now, as you know, but yeah, credit to him, and he'll kick on after. He's the type of bloke that seems he'll kick on after rugby anyway.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I think he's been doing a bit of TV stuff as well, and I think he's got a few things lined up, hopefully, and hopefully. I wish him all the best in whatever he's doing. I'm sure he'd be sweet.
Now, the next one I want to talk about, who retired a little bit earlier, Joe Marler.
Yeah.
What's he like?
Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah, he was fine with me. Like, it was quite a bit of not abrupt ending, but just sort of mid-season.
Why? What was the reason behind mid-season?
I'm not really sure, like, really why, but I had 2 seasons playing with him. Like, he was always lively character. He's a bit different. Obviously, you see it on TV, but he was always nice to me. Again, he's another one who's achieved everything in the game. So he was another one who was privileged to play with. I'd say him and Deese were like the last two of a era, like a change of era, you know, like him and Deese, and it was a privilege to play with them, because, like, over the years they're the players you see on the TV growing up and watching playing.
And the last question I got is, who's the backs coach for Harlequins?
Nick Evans.
So
it was him and Danny Kay were like 9 and 10.
Yeah.
They were like carved up for years together.
So Scott Baldwin mentioned Nick Evans on the podcast with him, and he couldn't speak highly enough about Nick. It's just the way he instills belief in the players, and as a 10, that's so important. Yeah,
like, I think it's exactly that belief piece, and always sort of staying in the moment. That's what I'd say he's pushed that quite a bit, in terms of, you know, it's so easy to just nod and shut up shop at times, and he's always trying to push players to improve the whole game and stay in the moment. Did you see this? Did you see that? So he's been a big part of pushing that positive mindset. I don't know if it's from where he's got it from. I don't know if it's a bit of a New Zealand thing. I don't know if it's what he's learned here in his playing days at Quins or coaching, but he definitely encourages players to stay in the moment and look for opportunities and just sort of have that freedom.
Nice. Love that, man. Brother, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on.
Cheers, mate.
It's refreshing. I'm excited again for the Welsh future, mate, when I see you, and getting to know you as well. You're a top bloke. That's the best thing about this, is you as a person represents what you like on the field, man. You're a grounded guy. So yeah, I'm grateful for that. But one thing I always ask my guests, mate, is what are you grateful for?
What am I grateful for? It's a tough question, but I don't know. Like, I'd say family and just having all my family. I think I've still got all my grandparents. I've still got a lot of my family members. So I'm just grateful that I can sort of spend time with them and have them about, and they've kind of followed my journey. So I'm just, I suppose I'm grateful for that.
Love that, man. I think one message for anyone listening who is a youngster or someone who's in the grades or in the academy or even in the first team, you know, rugby's not all sunshine and rainbows. It's not a smooth sailing path. And if you can even learn little percentage of Jarrod's journey and take it into your own life, and understanding that believing in yourself, regardless what's gone on and the adversities and knockbacks, and you can still get your opportunity. I think if you can take that into your career and go, like, it's going to be like this at stages, because 10 is such a, when you're winning, everyone loves you. When you're losing, everyone points a finger at you first. And but you've come out smiling, man, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Cheers, mate.
Brother, take care, man.
Take care. Take it easy.